So today's episode, this is a topic of mine, Star Wars Episode 10.
But wait.
Do you feel like they're going to make Episode 10?
Yeah, but I was about to say, but wait a second, Dylan. We already have episodes 1 through 9. Are they making an Episode 10?
I don't know.
They should.
It doesn't seem like it. But yeah, I'm all on board for them to continue. And I have kind of a plot idea as well that I will give to them to use for Episode 10.
Now,
do you want to hear it?
Yes, I'd love to hear it. Lay it on me.
What were you going to say?
No, I'm just interested to see what you got planned for us. What do you have in store for Episode 10?
So I think the format of doing a trilogy every time that a new Star Wars movie comes out is terrible. Obviously, it doesn't work because you switch writers and actors and directors, everything. So I think the way that they should do it from now on is do one movie, and then the writer, director for the next movie kind of takes where it was, and then you don't have to like fully finish a trilogy, you know?
It's like when you're doing that
never ending.
Like painting or drawing when you're a kid, where you start one, you have it folded, you do part, and then the next person just I think it's called like A Beautiful Corpse. It has like a really morbid name. But you do a third, and the next person does the next third, kind of blind, and it ends up being pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think that they should just do that kind of format. Every movie, it's an unending story, always, because we know that we're going to continue to get Star Wars stuff. And then, I mean, not necessarily like, you know, Guiding Light or other like soap operas that never end, but it's easy enough to continue the storyline. So what I would like to see, Star Wars Episode 10, is we get Rey. Obviously, she wants to start training people. But we finally get Force-sensitive Finn. And there's jealousy between, you know, him not being the chosen one for Luke or whatever. And then you've got the conflict between just these two characters. There's no more Empire. It's just inner conflict with these two people. And that's kind of how the story goes. So I think it'd be easy enough to have that like kind of break the mold of like, oh, we're no longer doing the Star Wars or the Skywalker storyline, but we are moving into taking what ended the last movie and moving it into a whole new way of doing the movies. What do you think?
So would Finn be turned to the dark side? Would he just be kind of like dark side adjacent? Would he like feel like, would there be like kind of rival Jedi schools that kind of like spar with each other with elaborate
like
dance and musical numbers?
Yeah, it's like Grease, but you take everything that's not in Grease and multiply it.
Wow. Then that's a lot. Because Grease.
No, but I would. I would see Finn being Sith, and you know, he's just turned that way because of his jealousy with Rey, and then it's also kind of a play on how Finn was mistreated, or John Boyega essentially was mistreated in in 8 and 9. So this is like the redemption of his character. Because, I mean, the way he held the lightsaber, I mean, you know, everyone knows he was Force sensitive, but then they kind of shot that idea down for Episode 8. But that's what I would like to see. I would like to see two characters going against each other without, you know, space station, another Death Star, or, you know, a larger battle beyond just that conflict.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because also, I think, like, part of the reason I was really excited when they announced Episode 7, but then I was like, well, doesn't that just kind of defeat the whole sense of victory you feel at Return of the Jedi if the Empire's just going to come back like harder and stronger? Like, you take the normal stormtroopers who can't really shoot and are defeated by Ewoks, and then you make them even worse. Like, not worse like they're bad at their job, but they're even more evil. Like, part of me was like, well, it kind of like delegitimizes everything that our initial heroes had done over the course of like a decade of their lives.
Well, that's the thing too, is like we're like forced to, no pun intended, like stick to this format for some reason. You know, it's good versus evil, Star War going on, and there's always this like bigger conflict. But now it's like the conflict is, where do we go from here? You know, Luke and all of his people have done this before, and you know, you had the CIS and that all happened, and now it can really get to like the root of things. Like, you can easily tell the story of how Maz Kanata got Luke's lightsaber.
Yeah.
And like small things like that. You know, it's not something that you need to wrap up in one movie or in 3. It can just continue on and bring back old characters, create new ones, and you know, it's an easier way to see how things work. I mean, Rose Tico didn't work.
Too late, don't do this! No!
But you can't cut her out of a whole trilogy. You obviously have to keep her storyline going for episode 8 and episode 9. But now this would be an easier way for Lucasfilm, Disney, whoever's really pulling the strings here, to not pigeonhole themselves into 3 movies, 1 full storyline. I mean, just keep going. Like, I would love to see what happens next. I mean, Rey buried Luke and Leia's sabers, and now what?
Well, they grow into a saber tree. That's how it works.
I know.
Just put him in the desert, and then 400 years later, you have a laser tree.
Well, you need water. Yeah, you gotta water them though.
I know.
But I mean, I think that's a great idea. Did you have any ideas for what you would want to see for episode 10?
Well, I think that having Rey on Tatooine in kind of a similar way to Luke being a recluse on Octo. Setting that up. And
bless you.
Yes, thank you. And also with you. And I feel like having her living this hermit lifestyle, it's easy to set up her like main opponents to be like a Hutt or something like that. You know, like a warring, you know, local takeover of like Tatooine. So it's her.
But does she need to?
Huh?
Does she need to be a recluse?
I think so. I think she went to Tatooine to be back in the desert, which is like kind of like her home, you know, to begin with, and to live the like moisture farmer life that Luke had lived. Yeah. Which is automatically like, you know, we know from episode 4 how much of like it's a kind of bleak existence, not a lot of fun to have. It's like living in the, you know, I don't know, living in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So I feel like setting up that, you know, she kind of is done with her lightsabers, but has to, you know, bring them up from the ground again in a moment of need. So I thought that'd be a fun idea. Not necessarily the galactic combat that we're used to, but more of a local, centralized conflict.
Yeah, because like easy enough, you know, the Empire wasn't the only other group. I mean, if you've got the Resistance, there's obviously other groups on other planets, and so you have to prepare really for anything.
I honestly think that Thrawn could be a great villain post First Order if he still has survived.
If he survives the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Rosario Dawson does against him. But I feel like he'd be a great villain to bring back, resurrect.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's kind of like a story arc that would lead into 2 more movies, like with your idea? Like, do you think that we'd have to do 10, 11, 12?
I think if you introduced like a major character from obviously the animated series and the books and the comic books, that like Thrawn, you would have to either set him up late in the first, you know, episode and then have that play off to the next 2. But if you wanted to do like completely new characters, I think it's possible to just do it one and done, you know.
Have it end, you know, how Return of the Jedi was, you know, everyone celebrated and stuff like that, and then it's easy enough to like start the next movie at another celebration where it's like, oh, we're introduced to these characters who, whatever, escaped Endor or something like that, you know. Rey's story, like, is it done? Does she just give up with Poe and Finn? Like, is that friendship just over and she's back, or she's on Tatooine? She's gonna go back to Jakku? Like, it's crazy, but I mean, there's a way to take even one character from 9 and mold it into a whole new story. You know, it's easy enough for Chewbacca to go somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Easy
Lando and very spry with his monkey hands.
Mm-hmm.
Detonator. I love that we finally got to see Chewbacca's hands. Like,
I know, they got a close-up on when it goes like that.
Episode 7, yeah. Little monkey hand.
I remember seeing that in the trailer and being like, what is he blowing up? And it's like, now I get it.
Whose hands are those?
Remember when, I don't know, because I knew you didn't watch the trailers, but I remember when the trailer for the episode 9 came out, and there was kind of like a hairy hand. It turned out to be one of the Knights of Ren, like crafting the helmet of Kylo Ren, but it's really close up with his hands. It's really hairy.
Oh yeah,
like George Costanza forearms.
So it was like still like a monkey.
Exactly.
Like it looked exactly like a monkey.
So yeah, I was wondering if that would be, if that was like somehow Chewbacca. I'm so glad it wasn't, because they would really jump the shark there. I also feel like with Rey living on Tatooine, another fun little added relationship is her with living with Force ghosts on Tatooine of Luke and Leia. You know, maybe they're like
just always telling her what to do.
They're just living like 3 people in, you know, in Luke's old home. You know, Leia's confused because she went to Tatooine once and now she lives here permanently.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't sign up for
this. I
this.
assume Luke and Leia just kind of float together.
Yeah.
It's like, also, what do you do with that? Like, you know, you've got Obi-Wan and Yoda, and now I think we're going to get Force Ghost Qui-Gon in the new Obi-Wan series. But do you decide, like, I'm just going to go do my own thing today? Like, do they hang out? Like, do ghosts, like, hang out all the time? Or are they just like, you know, I've had enough of hanging out with you?
I don't think that it works for, like, the confines of a haunted house. Because I feel like they just go anywhere. I mean, the first time we see a Force Ghost, it's literally Obi-Wan being like, "This is so cold. Go to Dagobah. Also, goodbye." You know. So I think they can appear wherever. Clearly, Obi-Wan is, you know, using his ghost passport. You know, in the original trilogy, just going anywhere. So I feel like you know, they could just travel wherever, whenever.
Have you seen the meme with Obi-Wan in Dagobah where he like goes and he sits down and it's like the ghost is tired, he's got to take a seat?
That's what I love about it. You know, he's a tired ghost, even for a ghost.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like after I'm dead, I'm gonna be tired on top of being a ghost. Tired now.
Do you think
life in my 30s is just a barrel of yawns?
So, Star Wars Episode 10. I don't think they'll end up doing it. I think their Rangers of the Republic will probably be the next movie, and I would assume it takes place between 6 and 7. I think we're going to get just a ton of content between those. Obviously with Ahsoka, Mandalorian, but I do want Episode 10. And I want them to say it's not a trilogy, just so we can all just enjoy and all the other fans can just hate it.
Yes. It will certainly inspire some opinions, one way or the other. But I think that, if they were to go forward, probably best to avoid locking in for 3 movies of an arc. You know? When it's just like Lost, like they don't have any idea how they're going to finish it when they started it. But, you know, we'll see how it works out.
So are you saying Episode 7, 8, and 9 was purgatory the whole time?
Yes. I'm saying BB-8 was a smoke monster the whole time.
And it's weird that everyone just expects there to be a trilogy. Well, obviously because it came out 4, 5, and 6, so you had to do 1, 2, and 3. But like Disney didn't have to sign up for 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, they could have just done 7. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for checking this out. Who did check this out? No thanks to people who didn't check this out, but you'll never know because you'll never see this. Comment below what you think might happen in Star Wars Episode 10, or if you want an Episode 10, if you think it should be a trilogy or not. Like this video, subscribe, and lastly, join us next week where we dive into Mace Windu.
May the Force be with you.
And also with you.